100 subscribers. Thank you guys so much for supporting the channel. It was gonna be 150, but you know, things happen. This is actually the 4th time I've got to this milestone. The original stream channel, Twitter, and Twitch almost had the elusive 200 follows, but I don't really believe that number when there are so many bot follows trying to sell me something that may or may not even be made by human hands, or just a scam altogether. But that's another story for another time. Thank you to all the ones who've stuck around for all these years, and thanks to all the new subscribers who came in during this year. But there's a bit of an elephant in the room. 5 years. It's like that one question you always hear. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? I did see myself here, so props to myself for still being around and creating. I just didn't see the amount of trial and error that comes with being around for this long. So I want to take a look back at everything I've learned from this point. I do have a couple videos like this on the channel, but those were speaking more in the moment type videos and not very positive. And there's probably going to be a bit of negativity in this one. I'll try and frame it all so there's at least some kind of takeaway from it. If there's anyone watching who's in a similar situation or can relate at all. Probably going to be a bit all over the place with this one, but I think it's best to start at the beginning, which will be... For people who are new and haven't checked out older videos or the other channel, the start of my content creation career started in the great VTuber boom of 2020. Looking at how things are now with the past year of uploads on this channel, and looking at how the original channel was doing, I think VTubing was probably one of, if not the biggest mistake I made. Just looking at how this last year has been compared to the last 4 combined, it's pretty easy to see. And that's not to say that I don't like VTubers, but what my idea of VTubing was back in 2020 and what the current VTuber landscape looks like, I don't think it's for me. I don't think what I do or what I like to talk about appeals to that crowd. And there's probably a million things that I could say about it and probably a million different things you could say back. But I'm just going to use the information that I have to plead my case here. Back on the original Muttley Strikeout channel, there are so many click on, click off videos. A majority of them are just a view or so, but even the ones with like 10, 20, 30 views still have like 20-second average watch time. I'll just pick a handful of them just to show you. That also transferred over to this channel in a lesser way. Views and watch times were not great. Keep in mind, I was still streaming at the time and practically begging people to watch them. Plus, myself adding to the watch time and likes, which I don't think helps. It just puts you in your own algorithm, but like, who really knows? Long story short, when I rebranded this channel to SweetOut and pretty much went for more of a review/essay style of video, it was almost an immediate change. I'll get more into it when I start talking more about YouTube, but the main point I want to make here is that the use of a VTuber model was completely removed. There is still a character who pops up and talks. I think a persona that pops up on screen and is used to represent myself and the channel is the way this channel will be presented going forward. But having this on screen for 99.9% of every upload I ever did for the first 3.5 years. There's one video I don't. It's the finale to Astral Chains because I crashed out while playing the last level so badly. I couldn't beat the last boss. Ended stream and came back later, locked in, and wrapped it up. I think it really did hinder the growth of the channel to some degree. I can't say if it was a little or a lot, but I feel pretty confident in thinking it was at least some amount. Needless to say, this is more than enough for me to confidently think that VTubing just isn't for me. I still like VTubers, but I don't think the people who like VTubers would like me. Or at least I need more people to like what I do than just people who like VTubers, if that makes any sense. I think what I offer as a creator just clashes with what people want out of a VTuber. But like I said, there's a million things I could say. and a million things you could say back, I think it's pretty safe to say that I will not be pursuing that avenue in future branding or representation. Not to say I would never VTube again, but it's very unlikely. Twitch and streaming is something that I've had a complete 180 turnaround on. Going at it for 3.5 years and seeing no results, I think is insane. It's actually more insane that I didn't call it quits sooner. And it didn't help that I never got any support or boost or anything from Twitch. No front page, no invites, no nothing. There's absolutely nothing on that platform to help smaller creators. And I was doing what all the top dogs say to do. I was uploading all the time on the original channel, made my own clips and highlights and edits for this channel. But putting all that aside, I just don't think streaming is the place to start if you are starting from nothing. Maybe a decade plus ago that was the case, but the way I see it now, it's more of a platform for people with established audiences to get more from their favorite creators. One of my earliest interactions with YouTube comments called me out on this right away. The problem is that your streams are boring as F, and that you are not entertaining to your viewers at all. And as a result, the people leave. I also had to learn that the hard way. I was like, oh, who wouldn't like me? I like myself so much. Wrong. You are not delivering what the people want to see or hear, being boring, not saying what the people like to hear, again, not giving attention or interactions to your chat. And there's a ton of streamers who stream games with mega high quality everything and who are more entertaining. And people see us streamers like a box of candy. They have a choice to grab which candy they want, and they will grab the most tasty looking candy. Competition is fierce. You have to mega stand out and be extremely entertaining, or have a niche that no one else has. Otherwise, no one will be interested in staying in your stream. Spoken like a true YouTube commenter. Thank you for the comment. But you got one part of that wrong. I didn't have any viewers. There were the few faithful and hopefuls, but aside from that, the stream never grew past that despite follower count going up. Streaming is a very energy-driven medium. Streamer spends the energy to be entertaining. Chat catches the energy. Streamer catches back the energy from chat to use once again. So if your streams are like mine, you're gonna run out of energy in like an hour or two. Regardless if you keep going from that point, you're just not gonna have any energy. But that last part about having a niche is so true. I don't even think this dude knew how much they were right about that. I think they meant like you're the one guy streaming that one thing. Like your niche is that you're the one guy who streams the original XCOM or something. XCOM is your favorite thing, and you only stream that and talk about XCOM. That kind of niche. It doesn't even have to be a video game. It can be whatever. And I think this works, and I've seen it work. But I've also seen people in a niche try something new and engagement just falls way off. So what I've realized is that you need to build a niche in yourself before moving on to the next step, which in this case is streaming. That's what I'm trying to do here on YouTube, and to a lesser extent, Twitter, but we'll talk about that in a bit. I took the advice, don't start streaming unless you plan to also make YouTube videos. But now I'm in the headspace that it's almost completely the opposite. Don't start streaming unless you know there are people who want to watch. The endless stream grind only pans out for a few people out of millions every year. That's like worse odds than the lottery, because at least that has a winner like every week. And I'm making that statement based on the amount of people I've never heard of or seen before into suddenly seeing them all over the place. There's a lot of nuance, like people who hit affiliate and hit partner and so on and so forth, which is way more common, until you get to the ones who mega pop off and make it big. which is not common at all and is the point that I'm trying to make. And that's not what I'm shooting for. I'm just looking to do what I like and make enough to get by. That's why I decided to stop streaming and return to just making videos. There are other reasons why I stopped streaming. Mentally and emotionally, it was just getting worse and worse. It was really affecting me negatively, and it showed not only in the stream, but on my other socials too. So that's why I will not be returning to streaming until I know there are people who would want to watch it. And that's the current goal, to return to streaming and keep up the YouTube uploads. But right now, I can't. I can't handle another 0 viewer stream. Until the YouTube channel reaches the monetization level, I can't confidently start streaming again. Twitter and social media is kind of a mess for me right now. But even before the major change-ups that have happened in the past couple of years, I never really had a place on Twitter. It's very similar to YouTube. You either have it or you don't. And if you have it, you just gotta get lucky. Because if you get lucky and you don't have it, it ain't gonna stick. And I definitely don't have it. Besides streaming and making YouTube videos, I also like to do art. That's kind of the reason I gravitated towards VTubing in the first place. When I started, I was way worse of an artist than I am now, and I would consider myself subpar even today. I'm good enough to maybe get an idea to look how I want it to, but my painting sucks, my line art sucks, and I can't do backgrounds at all. I don't think I'm going to get there anytime soon either. I've had to come to terms that I just don't have an art brain. It takes me way too long to learn something, and the years have just stacked up on me. Yes, I've improved, and I enjoy learning and practicing new things, but I just don't have what it takes to build a following over there. And that's okay, because I've learned that it doesn't really matter. Number does not matter. The one mega success on YouTube that I've had, the Hollow Knight video, did not get any attention or traffic from Twitter. So stressing about making number bigger does not really matter or help at all. What does matter is keeping a cool head. Maybe about 6 months to a year-ish after starting, the Twitter started to become a bit more radioactive, showing how low numbers were, how badly things were going, how the stream went badly, admissions of spite and envy, and anything to get some kind of attention or sympathy. You see it happen all the time. People in dire straits and getting loads of attention on social media. And I thought, if it works for them, it could work for me. At the very worst, I just thought nobody cared and just went on full self-destruction. Like, nobody's gonna see this, just let me vent. Trust me. Even if you have 0 interactions on social media, people will notice you crashing out. I was very fortunate to have this pointed out to me, and I've cleaned up past tweets, and they were all mostly just done off pure emotion. Even if you can rationalize a reason for crashing out, just keep it to yourself. Which sucks, because any kind of growth I could have gotten with what I had pretty much just went right into the trash with how I started posting. Keep it professional always on social media. And I had to learn that the hard way. Since mid-2024, I have used Twitter very sparingly, only to post art, animations, and new videos. I've tried to clean up all the crash outs, but there's probably still a few crumbs lying around. Since Twitter won't show me all of my own tweets, nice, shoutouts to Twitter. Something to keep in mind going forward is, just because you don't feel like people are paying attention to you, trust me, they are. You just won't see it. So keep it clean and keep your stupid comments in your pocket. Just like streaming, YouTube is something I've had almost a 180 turnaround on. Because you would think it's all the same. Just make a post and get lucky. But every now and again, you would hear someone say that there's a skill to it. And after 5 years of trial and error, to finally have one video pop off like nothing ever has in my entire life, I think I can confirm that there is indeed some skill to it. And what is that skill? On YouTube, you really need to learn the title and thumbnail game and how to hook people into watching the video past the first 30 seconds. Good quality in audio is a baseline for all of this. That just eliminates any annoyance that comes with low quality audio. So where am I going with this? Something you hear a lot is branding, to make people know it's your video just at a glance. And this is something I tried for years. On the original channel, started with a little sidebar, and then I changed it to this bordered logo look. And then I went back to the sidebar, changed the headshot, started making unique thumbnails for each upload, changed the headshot again, and then tried no branding whatsoever. And I honestly didn't really see any change. But I kind of have an idea why that was. And that came over to this channel. Generic thumbnails with text and face, and then I just removed the face altogether. There was one actual hit on this channel, the first Monster Hunter video. It got over 1,000 views. At that time, there were only a handful of videos around that view mark, and I don't even know why. But I tried to replicate the thumbnail and title and nothing hit ever again. At this point, we are entering the dark era right before I called it quits on streaming. So the next few uploads are not so positive. Glossing over, that brings us to 2025. The year I decided to bite the bullet on something I was dreading I would have to do. Draw my own unique thumbnails. You probably noticed that I just had a handful of headshots drawn and reused as appropriate. That was by design, because I don't think I'm that good of an artist, and it does show. It takes me far too long to get a thumbnail done for one of these more recent videos. And yeah, there are a couple that I churned out in a day, but I'm also trying to improve at the same time as everything else, so I take my time. The immediate change in viewership was kind of shocking. Yeah, the change to more video essay style videos probably helped too, but another thing I changed was the branding. The face I use for the channel has no appeal or draw or recognition. I'm not a Moist Critical or Northern Lion, Germa or Vinny. Nobody cares who I am. All of that was just to say, people telling you need to have some kind of branding is kind of wrong. At least for people like me who are starting from zero. You need to make your thumbnails as generically attractive as possible. I have changed the branding a little bit, rebranding this channel as Sweet Out, and using Mutlet in some of the earlier thumbnails. Even the videos with her swapped out, you can see an immediate change in the views. Finally, after 5 years of making content on the internet, I had a successful post. The Hollow Knight video. And I honestly have no clue why. I know calling this a success is a bit of a stretch, but after going through my love, anger, and all of my sorrow, I want to talk about what it was like to finally see something succeed. The thumbnail. I don't think I did anything special with the thumbnail. I just did the YouTube traditional subject of the video and big text. The title was pretty honest, obviously. Well, maybe not obviously. I didn't include any kind of branding or anything to indicate that this video is mine or special in any way. But I did draw the thumbnail, so maybe it was just unique enough for people to want to click on it. If you were one of the 60 subs from that video, please leave a comment why you clicked on it, why you watched, and why you subbed. I think that would be some pretty useful information. The views. 12K, I would say, is a huge success. It definitely didn't go viral, but for a channel that had 80 subs before this upload, I would say you can't ask for much better. Before this year, and at the very start of it, this channel had like 40 something subs. I was pretty happy when something hit 100 plus views. And when something did 1,000, I was like on top of the world. So seeing something get 12 times that, I wasn't expecting to be scared. I was happy that the video did well and was doing its job on YouTube, but when the number just kept going up and up, I was getting scared. And I wasn't expecting that. It was posted in October of 2025, which is actually 1 month over the 5-year anniversary of making content. So I'm a little late here too. But having nothing ever do this well ever, I wasn't expecting that feeling. I think it was because it was an opinion piece, and this was my first real engagement with YouTube comments. I've had my limited share of "this video sucks," "you suck," "VTuber gross," whatever. Comments didn't happen too often. But like, to finally see why they all say not to read YouTube comments, I understand why that's a common statement now. People will just not watch the video and say whatever. Not understand the video, not understand nuance. And to get that at rapid fire, it hit me. And hopefully I can take it a little bit better next time. And hey, I still read and reply to every comment. And if you say something that I cannot really respond to, you'll get the "thanks for the comment." Because once you realize that even negative comments count for positive engagement, just milk it. Worst thing you could do if you really wanted to hurt me is click the video, not watch it, not say anything at all, and leave the video. And to all the people who left nice and informative comments, thank you so much. The reassurance. This one's going to be a little bit longer. When you spend 5 years of your life into something that is yielding no results or feedback, it's hard to know what's going wrong, if anything at all. The Hollow Knight video solidified that I can make good videos, and that all of the little tricks and trials I've learned from have come together to form a perfect storm. With enough trial and error, the system will let you know what needs improving. To try and give some insight, let's go over the videos that got over 1,000 and try to figure out what the takeaway should have been from these. This Elden Ring VOD, almost 2K views, but only a 2-minute average watch time. This Street Fighter VOD, 1K views, 30-minute video, and only a minute watch time. The Monster Hunter prediction video on this channel, 1K views, 6-minute video, 2-minute watch time, which I think gives this video the best ratio. But that's a pretty common thing with every upload pre-2025. These videos each have like a 2 to 5% click-through rate, which Google says is kind of the average. So thumbnails and titles were doing their jobs. People were just not watching them. You can argue they're Twitch VODs and nobody wants to watch a Let's Play, and that's probably true, but even the early edited content on this channel was not performing. We can go back to the VTuber thing, which to me only adds to the reasoning that it was a bad call by me to continue using a live 2D model. Regardless, people were not sticking with these videos. Since changing to hand-drawn thumbnails, click-through rates of these uploads stay around that 2 to 5%. I had one shoot up to 10%, and then YouTube decided to stop giving the video impressions. What's helped with getting people past the 30-second mark was the addition of the supercut intros, which happened by complete accident. I posted a question for Nimi and made a tweet about it, links, hashtags, and all, but it was just using the thumbnail art and nothing else. And that post on Twitter bombed, which is kind of crazy, because fan art anything usually does at least something. You could blindfold MS Paint fan art using a mouse with your feet, and you can expect some kind of engagement. But this tweet just bombed. Waking up the next morning, I knew I had to do something. So I slapped the animated bits together and some music and reposted it. And it didn't do much better, but at least it wasn't nothing. The unintentional part was cutting the animations to the beat of the track. That was all on accident. And you can kind of tell because some of the cuts are not where you think I would make them. After watching it back, I thought I should just use these in the full videos. And people seem to like them. I don't think the tweet had anything to do with the video's success. The Hollow Knight tweet got 0 engagement, and that's my best video, so I'm not too concerned with Twitter numbers. but it did end up giving me a trick on how to hook people to watch past the intro of the video. And even then, I don't know how much it helped because the Hollow Knight video has a more ominous opening to fit the theme of the video. Click-through rates are up, views are up, but average watch time is still only a couple minutes. And I don't know if that's normal, but a couple of minutes on a 10 to 15 minute video is better than 1 to 2 minutes on a 60-minute video. So I don't know. YouTube is just a wild animal that you can't predict. The last upload to the channel, the Owlboy Savant review, was just dead on arrival. 4 views, 150 impressions. I was not expecting another pop-off anytime soon. The Star Rail video did about as well as it should have, and I was expecting this one to do not amazing since the topic isn't really relevant, but I was not expecting it to just die right out of the gate. So who knows if anything I've said is even relevant to a video performing well. All I can say is that the Hollow Knight video is proof that I can make something good. Obviously, there is still room for improvement. I don't think I write the best scripts. Thumbnails could be better. And I only recently got a good idea for how my editing should flow. I think it's all just a matter of making a good thumbnail, having a relevant topic, and have a good flow to the video. Finally, I just wanted to say this was me just looking back at my journey so far. I'm not saying that there are things you shouldn't do or should do. If you're watching this as someone in a similar situation, I'm sure you've watched just as many how to grow as a creator videos as I have. And I think there's a lot of good suggestions for things to try. You owe it to yourself to at least try. But I think the most important thing you can do is trust your gut. I'm not asking you to trust me on this. I'm asking you to trust yourself. The reason I VTubed for so long was because I kept seeing all these how it started versus how it's going, or just keep grinding posts on Twitter. Not even checking to see if they do the same thing as me. Do they do art? Do they game? Make videos? Is their stuff not even in the same ballpark? I just blindly followed the trend even when my heart was telling me to stop. If I listened, I think I could have spared myself a lot of heartache. But that's probably a part of the growing process as an online creator. You don't have to listen to me at all, and you shouldn't. I'm just a guy. I'm not perfect. I've screwed up things in the past, present, and most likely the future. I am not some kind of role model. I just want to make stuff and have people enjoy what I do. If I could make a living off of it, that's the dream. The main goal is to get back into streaming. Keep the edited content coming, but include more in-the-moment cuts and takes rather than me scripting everything. Because I really don't think I write good scripts. I'm a very ifs, ands, or buts kind of writer. I like to talk, but I don't like to write. Improve at art and animation. There are some projects and studies that I want to do, but I can't really work on art and work on a video at the same time, unless I'm recording for a game I want to talk about. Art videos aren't really going to be a thing, but I did enter the Mega Man 12 Robot Master Design contest, so if that goes anywhere, I'll probably talk about it. The only way I would do one is if I get something like a Colosso sponsor. I think it would be a pretty good show, or if sites like these can take you from a subpar to pseudo-professional in a relatively short time. So if anyone from Colosso is watching, hit me up. At the end of the Hollow Knight video, I mentioned being interested in game development and seeing how not only the current gaming landscape is, but the landscape of the world right now. It does feel like something to pursue. With AI just taking over and ruining the world, the call for actual creatives to create things they want to see is higher than ever. That might be an avenue I go down. There's only 2-ish roadblocks that are kind of stopping me from fully committing. One is, as I mentioned before, just to become a better artist and animator. I think I'm good enough to see the idea fully through to the end. It's just the end product does not have the desired look or appeal. So that's one problem. The other problem is music. Games have to have music, and I have never composed anything. It's just not something I've ever practiced outside of like playing a recorder in elementary school. It seems like FL Studio is the way to go for the professional sound, so I might look into picking that up at some point. Also sound effects, I would have to make sound effects. The engines I would be looking to learn are either Game Maker or Godot, and I'm leaning more to Godot because it seems to be better for 3D and can also do 2D, but that would mean I'd probably have to relearn Blender on top of learning how to code as well. So there's maybe more than two problems. Merch is something I would like to do in the future. It's something I've done in the past, but that is like way out for now. Merch requires a pretty hefty amount of disposable income to produce, which is something I do not have currently. But we'll see. Thank you for the support over the past year. I know this video is a touch late, but I couldn't really record over all the holidays. 2026 is looking to be the roughest year yet. So let's all do our best and try to not let that happen. And thank you so much for watching.